Welcome to our special series where we're going to be taking a look at how to do things. What are we making today, buddy?
We're making pasta.
Pasta! Okay, so what we're going to need for this, the first step is to make sure you have your ingredients. You want to have, for a pound of pasta, you want to have 2 cups of flour, 3 eggs, and we're going to end up doing something special with it, buddy. We're going to have a secret ingredient called parsley. We're going to actually add that to the dough. Okay, Professor, what do you have there?
I have 3 eggs and here, and I also have some flour and the secret ingredient for pasta.
Parsley. Ooh, I bet it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's check it out. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to create the dough by combining the flour, 2 cups, and you want to make a nice little mound, okay? Like this, where you're going to have space, because we're going to add some other things to that. Alright, and like kind of as the professor mentioned before, we're also going to use parsley. Most pasta, it only has flour, and it also has eggs. And this one, you can add things. And we like to add things to it. We're going to be making something called aglio e olio, or as they say in South Philly, aioi. Just adding a little bit of parsley. It really just comes down to what it is that you like to have. So we're making aglio e olio. It's got that in it. We could very easily put other things in it. We've got rosemary right here. If you wanted to make some kind of a chicken pasta dish, that would be great for that. Alright, and then what you do is you just make sure you have the space here. Looks like a volcano, doesn't it, buddy?
Till it let's explode and parsley.
Alright, so assistant, do you like pasta?
Yeah.
Very good.
Hi. Yeah.
Professor and Professor Dati is going to make pasta for us tonight.
Yeah.
Yay! So what we do is you want to crack the eggs. Just put it right in there.
Yep, that's easy. I've done that before.
You done it before?
Yeah.
Let's try it. See how it goes, buddy. Ooh, good job, dude.
I just got it inside.
Got it right inside there. Alright. So that would be step 1, is just having these and having these to combine. No.
Hey, you're not supposed to eat the flour, Sammy.
I'm not eating flour.
Yeah, but I want it all over your face.
Oh, I am caught white-faced. Oh, I am sorry. I will not eat anymore until we are done.
Do you want to?
Alright, so the next step that you want to do is you want to start incorporating from the inside of the well, start incorporating the flour. You also want to scramble this up here pretty good. Probably want to use a fork there, Professor. You got a fork right there. And what we're doing, now that that's nice and set up, if we can start putting some of the inside of the well and start incorporating that in there. So if you can help out with that, bub. Be very careful, because the volcano can erupt and the eggs can come out. So you want to try to get that in there, just very slowly.
Don't let the volcano erupt, everyone. Don't forget that.
We do not want the volcano to erupt, so that just, you can still eat it, but it becomes really messy at that point. What are you doing, Professor?
Kneading the dough. I need this dough to make it turn into a baby.
I need it to eat. Can I eat this?
If you want to.
Bad advice. You cannot eat it until it is cooked.
Eat it. That's what I need to do. I'm kneading it. I need this dough.
Alright, so like kind of the professor saying, you want to knead the dough. What that basically means is that you're constantly pushing down on it. It says to do it with the heel of your hand, right here like that, and you just put some pressure on it. What that basically does is it kind of gets all the good stuff in the flour working, so that when you rest it later, it's ready to go. You see that it's still kind of sticky and doughy. What that means is that it needs more flour. So you always want to keep flour and water nearby, because every little bit of change completely changes it. You throw a little flour on, and it changes the entire constitution of it.
I'm going to drink some water, just like that dough needs. for later.
All right, the next step is to let it rest. So we want to cover it in some plastic wrap, and it needs the rest. And it needs the rest because otherwise, all the stuff that's working in that you combined doesn't necessarily work the way. So we're going to put this into the fridge for the next half hour before our next step. Okay, Professor, it is almost done resting the pasta is. Are you ready for the next steps?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, let's do it. All right, so once it's rested for a half hour, what you want to do is you want to first flour your surface. You always want to have flour down so that it doesn't stick. And then what you want to do is you want to press it into a disc. So, Professor, if you can help me with all of your hand, press it into a disc.
Can I make an animal disc?
Like a hot, well, let's make it an animal hockey disc. How about that?
Yeah. How do you make it an animal hockey disc?
Animal hockey disc. I like it. All right. So once you get it into a disc, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make it more manageable. So you're going to want to cut it in the corners. I would highly suggest that the adults do that, like fours. All right. So they were broken into fours.
Yeah.
Okay. From there, what you want to do, get the cutting board out of the way, is we're going to roll it, but first you want to flour it. All right. Again, you always want to flour the surfaces that the dough comes across, that way that it doesn't stick. So, Professor, if you're right here, if you can help by doing this.
That's easy.
All right.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay. Let's see what you got.
This is my piece of dough.
Good job. And then every so often, you want to move it a quarter.
I'm actually
flatten that sucker out. Alright, and as we're rolling, just want you to notice the parsley that's in there. So it's just kind of embedded into this, and it's just going to become part of the noodle, which makes it extra tasty. You don't see that every day. I'm not really sure why. But it's a great way to kind of enhance the whole thing. Alright, so once the pasta is all rolled out, what I like to do is I like to cut off the edges. To kind of, that way you have a nice straight deal here. Alright?
What do we do with the roll now?
And then once we have this, we want to cut it into relatively thin strips because we're going to feed this into the pasta machine. And from the pasta machine, hey there, assistant. Once we put it into the pasta machine, it's going to make it a lot thinner and a lot longer. So we're just getting prepared for that and see if we can get the professor to give us an assist on that. Alright, so after you cut the pieces, what you're going to do is you're going to feed it into the pasta machine so that it thins out to a nice thin spot. You don't want to let the pasta crack on the edges. What do you think, buddy? It's not too hard, is it?
It is very hard.
Very hard?
Yeah.
Once you've thinned it, the next step is to cut it using the pasta machine. See how it comes out all nice right here? Alright, so once the cutting is done, what we can do is you want to put it on something to dry. You can freeze it, you can dry it, or you can just cook it fresh, which is what we're going to do on our next video, is we're going to take a look at how to make aglio e olio.
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando al riposo. Narcisetto a dolcino d'amor, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a dolcino d'amor. Non più avrai questi bei panacchini. Quel cappello leggero galante, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante, quel vermiglio d'onesco color, quel vermiglio d'onesco color. Non più avrai quei panacchini, quel cappello, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante. Non più drai farfalloni amoroso.
Thank you for watching The Kid Professor. Please like and subscribe. Hurry up! Hurry up!
Okay, Professor, next step is to let it rest. Can you cover the ball with, oh yes,
Yeah,
the light wrap?
So, I actually have a friend here named Arctic. He really doesn't really live in the savannah. He lives in the rainforest, which is all the way over there. Here's Arctic.
With a name like Arctic, I would think that he lives in the Arctic.
Yeah, but he's an Arctic fox, so he can just be like a normal fox. And